So, I really need to get the full cinema experience here. So, just grab some Doritos. This is in no way sponsored by them, otherwise, you know, I'd be... Bear with me. Yeah, I haven't eaten these in like 5 days, they've gone weird. I need a soda. This is just Coke. I can't be bothered to get a branded thing. I just use the bottles over and over again because it's easier rather than, you know, wasting the environment. That's better. Right. Of course, that all cost me £59 billion. So, why am I doing movies? Well, it's because Pixels came out. You know, the thing that's about video games. Well, and you know, full disclosure here, I haven't seen it because I don't need to see it. And there's lots of reasons, which I'm going to go through, why I'm not seeing it. And also, from the people that have seen it, which doesn't include AJ and Owen, because they actually thought it was good, which seems to be the minority. I don't want to prove them wrong, but I'm just trying to give my take on the situation. So, let's get down... Wait, what? Right, let's get down to business. Now I'm trying to work out which is the real pair. That? No. Right, got him. Right, so. Now, I hope I'm not going to get copyright stricken, but I'm going to actually have the original teaser playing. It's the original link that was posted on Machinima like 5 years ago, 9th of April 2010. Because this short 2.5-minute film, I would say, is better than whatever we got. I think it's like 100 minutes. So there might be sound. I might turn it down, whatever. So, the whole concept is, we've got this old TV here. This is sort of like audio commentary from a critic. So then all of a sudden it turns into a bomb, the thing explodes, and now you get the whole concept of these video games and whatever trying to kill everything. Not from like space or anything like that. No sort of weird plot, just... Here comes a lot of rainbow stuff, which is clearly trying to reflect sort of the old Commodore style stuff. Now we've got Space Invaders, which don't appear in the movie from what I've been told, because I guess license issues. But yeah, Nintendo are willing to let their thing go crap. You got the bit with a taxi, which is nice. The Pac-Man bit in this short film is basically him eating all the subway stations, aka the dots on the map. That would have been a better contribution than Bimmy and Jimmy Minis. Then we got the Tetris blocks, which is one of the nice little concepts, and from what I've heard, it has been pretty much faithfully put in to the game, which is nice. At least they got one thing right. It's a rarity. Then you got the Pong Bats destroying. I think this is George Washington Bridge. It's New York. Donkey Kong on the top. Looks better animated here than does in the movie. That's one of the big ironies. Then we got Frogger. Don't know about that one. And then a giant bomb, which caused the entire world to basically voxel, you know, turn into Minecraft sort of blocks. So much so that once New York's been changed, then the entire world changes into one giant blue cube, because obviously 8% of the world is water, so why wouldn't it just be a blue cube? And then that's it. That is the 2-minute or so short. And just as it stands as a short, it should have been Oscar nominated in 2011. But because it was just produced for the internet, nah. It's a bloody good short. Seriously, if you've seen the movie, watch the short. Tell me which you think is better. Because we had 120 seconds rather than 100 and something minutes. So, the main issue seems to be coming from... people are hating on it because it's an Adam Sandler film. Which is unfair. Because taking the concept like they've done is going to be crap anyway. So, the main issue I have with this is, apart from the fact it features a Smurf, it features characters that don't even exist but have been made up to just try and change the whole content of the film, which I'll get to, because that's a big thing. You've just got old 80s stuff thrown in. The great thing is, Nintendo doesn't give the rights to, stuff basically about video games. Like Mario and Luigi aren't in Wreck-It Ralph. But I guess in some shape or form because of Donkey Kong. He does appear in this one. And other times when video games have been involved and that Nintendo's licenses haven't been used but everything else has, it just sort of really does cheapen it. Because it's like Wreck-It Ralph is a very good film and widely praised by a lot of people. Pixels isn't. Pixels really isn't. And to be honest, if you look at it, take anything retro and have it come to real life would have been just as plausible an explanation. It wouldn't be video games. It could be sort of, all those fake action heroes and villains of the 80s sort of thing. The real Rambo. Like 80s Rambo. The real Terminator. The real, trying to think of some. Whatever it is, it didn't have to be video games. It could have been anything that was sent up in a time capsule and considered as a message of war. Anything but video games. The fact that it's saying, remember all these video games from the past? Weren't they shit compared to the ones that we're going to show you now? Oh wait, the versions that you show are all terrible ways of explaining them. Don't get me wrong, the CGI on them is good when they're presented. It's just the purpose of them being there. There isn't really any purpose. It could be sort of anything. The bloody Taco Tuesday villain, the evil brick guy, I can't even remember, from the Lego movie. He is a more credible villain in a real world environment than any of the video game monsters in this thing. It's a shame that it's like they're taking people's love of video games and taking a huge dump over them. Giant, steaming dump. Because for me as a gamer, this is the problem. It's very similar to, and this could be a future topic next week if this is still going on, that Time magazine cover of Palmer Luckey and the Oculus Rift, basically with his headset on and leaping up in the air like he's that He-Man bloody meme on YouTube, that one. He looks like that. You know, gaming has always been considered a second-class subject. Why else are video games blamed for all these violent mass murders with guns that happen? Oh, they're shooting at a cinema? Oh, it's because he played Call of Duty. It's not. He watched the film at the cinema 2 weeks before with a crap ton of violence. It wasn't that. It was the video games. Because video games are by far different because you can press a button to influence it. So what about those interactive DVDs? I mean, none of them are admittedly sort of, you know, press here to kill that. At least not the ones... I guess technically they are. Because there was that Final Destination one where you could, like, choose your own... You could change sort of the plot of the film. Like, if you changed it to... Like, it was either... It was like... there was one bit that I remember that was in a sauna on the DVD, and it was like, do you want to change it to 92 or 94? And they still died, but they actually died in a different way at the lower temperature to the higher temperature. So technically, that is a cause as well. But does it get mentioned? No, because video games are seen as a tiny thing. This from the industry that produced GTA 5, the game that took $1 billion worldwide in 3 days. Did Jurassic World do that in 3 days? No. Admittedly, the ticket prices are slightly different, but if you wanted to get this fancy IMAX 3D tickets, it would probably cost you, somewhere in the round of about £20, depending where you are in the country of the UK anyway, because I'm going on pound stuff. When it came out, GTA was about £40. So in essence, in its first 3 days, in worldwide alone, let's say, Jurassic World should have taken $500,000. Didn't. So it clearly, and I don't, you know, don't take my word on it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to come close to $1 billion in 1, possibly 2 days for Metal Gear when it comes out in two weeks. It's probably going to be that. This just turned into a rant on the, you know, saying video games are the problem and whatever. But it's, yeah, the whole idea is video games are always seen as second class. You know, why else do you think BAFTA, you know, those people that do the film and television awards, why else do you think they have a separate video game ceremony? Because apparently we're the only ones that have realised some of the stuff in gaming is pretty awesome. I looked it up because on television tonight they had Let Me In, which is the not as good American remake of the awesome Swedish original Let the Right One In zombie vampire film. I was looking up Chloe Grace Moretz because I was wondering, you know, what's she up to now. She did one of the voices in one of my favourite games of 2012, Dishonored, along with Michael Madsen and Susan Sarandon and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones and apparently even Carrie Fisher. I didn't even notice that stuff. I must have skipped the credits, or it's 3 years ago and I've completely forgotten about it. We've got legitimate stars doing legitimately good games. Not like sort of cash-in stuff like Chloe did with the Kick-Ass game, because the Kick-Ass game is bloody terrible. The one that I think came out for PS3 or PSP for the first game, absolutely crap. Like the Watchmen game for PS3, I think, and PSP, or certainly PSP. Just crap. there's a lot of drivel where the celebrities do voice it. Thankfully, you know, there's other ones which are pretty damn awesome that have celebrities voicing in it. Case in point, you know, look at GTA. Vice City's got Ray Liotta, Burt Reynolds, Dennis Hopper, Jenna Jameson, Philip Michael Thomas, trying to think, Luis Guzman, Robert Davi. You know, it's a voice cast that only Hollywood would get, and it's for a video game. Yet, all people attract with is, oh, it's violent. Neglecting the fact that it is one of the best games of all time, I would say. Personally, IMO, because it's all like that underneath, or whatever. But, also with the fact that it was sort of the first real big time that a game studio managed to get a cast list that would probably be on a Paul Thomas Anderson film. You know, I'm talking about his early stuff, because if you look at Boogie Nights and Magnolia, the cast list of both of those films is like, that person's famous, that person's famous. Somewhat in retrospect now, it's like, yes, you know, it's got a cast list of like, whoosh. It doesn't need to be cheapened and taken tackily. Wreck-It Ralph did it very well in pitching it as a kids' film. Pixels doesn't know where it's pitching at it, because you can't honestly say it's a kids' film when it's an Adam Sandler film. Because there's going to be a lot of humour in there that's going to appeal to Adam Sandler fans who are not under 10. Let's be honest. You know, this is the guy that brought us Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star. That is not for 10-year-olds. That is not for 10-year-olds. Okay? Right. Sorry, this is you could, you know, this was supposed to be coming last week, and I've promised it for a week, and I've been building and ranting and raving and going about it in my mind. If you want to see a film done properly that treats everyone with respect, Lego Movie. It appeals to kids, it appeals to teenagers, it appeals to adults. You can't honestly say Inside Out, because there'll be some people that are going through those feelings that might feel a little ironically depressed by it. But that, Inside Out to some extent, does the same thing. Pixels just doesn't. And then we get the misogyny. Ooh, the misogyny! Which, considering it's an Adam Sandler film, whoop-de-bloody-do. Who knew this was coming? Oh, wait, it's practically in every single Adam Sandler film. So, we get this, the female character, played by Ashley Benson. I can't remember the name off the top of my head when I did my research. She isn't even a real video game character. They made up a video game just to have her do stuff in it. She doesn't speak. She doesn't speak. She's one of the very few female characters in this film, and she doesn't speak. And then, when they... I think it's when they defeat Pac-Man, they manage to get a trophy or something. And the trophy is that Josh Gad's character gets to have her. And she's infatuated with him as he was with her. So, yeah, think about this. By being good at video games, he got a trophy wife. That is pretty much, literally, what happened there. And then, towards the end, just to really get good, once, you know, they've defeated the evil of video games, they all get trophy wives. So basically, be good at video games and people will like to screw you. Preferably of the women kind, because, you know, Adam Sandler doesn't like dealing with that sort of stuff in his films. Because apparently, you know, he can't fall in love with a man. He has to fall in love with a woman who is far beyond his reach every time. Case in point, Michelle Monaghan, who is just... Michelle Monaghan, from what I've heard from all the reviews, half the time she's there and it's like, I'm here. She might as well not even be there. And, you know, let's go to the stats. Oh yes, 51% of all Let's Players and Twitch, you know, live stream people, excluding all these events and stuff, you know, just people like me speaking to you at a camera, 51%. Well, it might even just be gamers outright. Either way, the stat is 51% of gamers are women. So half of the world's gamers are female. What is the contribution of the women in this film? One does some stuff, but is mainly sort of just a bit on the side, and the other is a trophy wife who kicks ass for like barely a few scenes and doesn't even talk. You wonder why so many stupid Call of Duty gamers go, you know, when a girl comes on their thing and starts talking, no wonder they're so misogynist, because it's Adam Sandler films that teach them to be misogynist. Let's be honest, because it isn't helping the matter. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you see a Black Ops 2 game now where it's like, yeah, I won, women can suck my dick. No, that isn't how it works in real life, and hence that's why it shouldn't work in television or media or any sort of media. Those people are the villains. You know, at the rate that it is with this thing, I'm rooting for the video game characters to kill all of humanity. Because the world that is populated in this movie doesn't deserve to exist. It deserves to be voxeled and turned into a cube like in the short. It's just... It fouls me. It really creases me. It really grinds my gears. I don't even know what the right words are for it. It's sort of making me speechless that the art of video games can be taken like this and just turned into something that much of a travesty. You know, I'm not even talking about like Uwe Boll movies. I'm not talking adapting actual video, you know, specific video games and doing a bad job of them. In which case, oh, we're really going to look forward to The Last of Us one, because that really needs to be made into a movie. Despite the fact there is an option in the game once you've completed it to watch all the cutscenes. So the option is there anyway. I'm pretty sure you can get The Last of Us pretty cheap now, at least on PS3. I'm gonna have to actually look it up, because that could be an interesting homework assignment for you all. I don't know why I keep doing that. After last week's, you know, description, I think I've gone crazy on homework. Either way, it just hurts me when something that, you know, I'm very passionate about, hence these videos that I've been doing the series of, is sort of treated with disdain and just using it for using its sake. It's not like that. It just isn't. I don't think it's the worst movie of the year. As I said, there's the CGI work that I've seen, even from the trailers, because I keep seeing them every time because they're adverts on Twitch, because, you know, nobody's watching it. It's just, it's how I feel about Fantastic Four. It's a wasted opportunity. There was a great chance for Pixel. Actually, come to think of it, if you took Pixels and put Josh Trank as the director, and then took Fantastic Four and made Chris Columbus the director, you actually might have got two good films. Because the whole concept of Pixels, like video games destroying the world, is a smart one if done right. You know, in essence, it would be good to see it done as a straight sort of disaster movie. Like a Cloverfield. That sort of deal. Rather than a tongue-in-cheek comedy thing. I mean, obviously the whole concept of, you know, 80s video game characters coming down. And of course they aren't even 80s video game characters. It's aliens creating these things because they're being inspired by them. Okay. It's... Ugh. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to say Adam Sandler broke me, but he's come bloody close. It's terrible to think that a lot of people have gone this excited. People have been looking at the trailers when I've been previously and laughing and saying, oh, this looks good. Whereas they've been to see trailers for stuff like Ant-Man and gone, oh, I'm not that interested. I sometimes wonder if I'm even the right person. Whether I've grown up completely wrong. Well, you know, whether I shouldn't be all about, you know, really good stuff. I should just eat the drivel. I should just have the crap. Come to think of it, I already am. I'm eating Doritos. And drinking Pepsi and Coke and whatever. Just, I'm not saying not go see it. I'm being honest here. I'm not saying not go see it. It's really just a case that just don't treat it as if it's going to be an epic. Don't even treat it as don't take your brain in. Because, to be honest, you'll need a brain to make you work out why you've seen it. Either way, rant over, video done. Let's hopefully we get to an important topic next week.